this message right now, it's not by chance. This video found you at exactly the right time. I need you to pay very close attention to what I'm about to share because it directly affects your future happiness and freedom. There's a woman in your life who has been calculating her next move. You might think you know who she is, or you might be completely surprised when her true intentions are revealed. Either way, her plans are already in motion, and you need to understand what's happening before it's too late. Have you been feeling unusual tension in certain relationships? A sense that something isn't quite right, but you can't put your finger on it? These aren't random feelings, they're your intuition trying desperately to alert you. The universe arranged for you to see this message today because time is running out. The signs have been there for weeks, maybe even months, but like most people, you've overlooked them or dismissed them as paranoia. This woman is planning to lock you in to create a situation where you feel trapped, obligated, and unable to pursue your true path. Her motives might not even be consciously malicious, but the effect on your life will be just as restricting. What I'm about to reveal will shock you, but it will also give you the clarity and power to protect your freedom and reclaim control of your destiny. Type "I need to know" to receive this message. The woman who's planning to lock you in isn't a stranger. She's someone you already know and likely trust. She could be a romantic partner, a close friend, a family member, or even a colleague. What makes her actions so dangerous is that they're disguised as care, concern, or even love. She's creating subtle dependencies, making herself essential to your happiness, your comfort, or your sense of security. Each kindness she offers comes with invisible strings attached. Each problem she solves makes you slightly more reliant on her presence in your life. You've probably noticed her becoming increasingly involved in your decisions. She offers opinions you didn't ask for. She questions your choices. She creates doubt about your capabilities. She positions herself as the solution to problems you didn't know you had. This isn't accidental. She's strategically establishing herself as indispensable. She's gradually reshaping your life around her presence and influence. The goal is to reach a point where separating from her seems impossible. Where your identity and hers have become so intertwined that standing alone feels unimaginable. You've allowed this to happen because it happened so gradually. The warm water turned hot so slowly that you didn't notice you were beginning to burn. You justified her increasing control as helpfulness. You mistook her boundary violations for closeness. You interpreted her criticism as genuine concern. But deep down, you felt something isn't right. That feeling isn't paranoia, it's your inner wisdom trying to protect you. Type "I see her plan" to continue. The signs of this woman's intentions have been appearing for months now. Remember when she subtly criticized your other relationships? Planting seeds of doubt about people who've been loyal to you for years? Or when she made seemingly innocent comments about your dreams being unrealistic or impractical? Think about how she reacts when you make independent decisions. Does she become withdrawn, creating an emotional cost for your autonomy? Does she overwhelm you with questions or concerns that make you second-guess yourself? These reactions aren't random emotional responses, they're conditioning techniques. You've noticed her suddenly appearing in spaces that were once your own, your hobbies, your friend groups, your family gatherings. She positions this as interest in your life, but it's actually about monitoring and influencing every aspect of your existence. Her help often creates more work or confusion, leaving you feeling incompetent or indebted. Her gifts come with expectations of reciprocity or gratitude that seem never-ending. Her advice subtly steers you away from anything that might threaten her position in your life. These patterns aren't coincidences. They're calculated steps toward creating a cage so comfortable you won't realize you're trapped until the door has closed. Your intuition has been sending warning signals. The unexplained anxiety when she texts, the exhaustion after spending time with her, the relief when plans with her get cancelled. These feelings aren't irrational. They're your subconscious recognizing what your conscious mind hasn't wanted to see. Type, I recognize the signs, to continue. This revelation about the woman in your life isn't just a warning. It's actually a profound opportunity. While her intentions may be restrictive, recognizing them creates an opening for tremendous personal growth and transformation. This situation is bringing important truths to the surface. It's revealing where your boundaries need strengthening, where your self-trust needs rebuilding, and where your authentic desires have been compromised. These insights are precious gifts, even though they arrive in challenging packaging. This woman entered your life for a reason. Not to trap you, but to teach you. Every controlling behavior she exhibits is highlighting an area where you've given away your power. Every manipulation tactic she uses is revealing a belief you hold about not being enough on your own. The universe has perfect timing. This realization is happening now because you're finally ready to address these patterns. You've grown strong enough to face these truths and use them as catalysts for positive change rather than reasons for self-judgment. This challenge isn't a punishment but a promotion. It's life saying you're ready for a more authentic existence, one where your choices align with your true nature rather than others' expectations. The discomfort you're feeling isn't a warning to retreat. It's an invitation to expand. The very relationship that threatened to confine you can become the doorway to unprecedented freedom. The question isn't whether this opportunity exists, but whether you're willing to walk through it. Type, I embrace the opportunity, to continue. Now it's time to understand the deeper truth. This situation isn't just about this woman's actions. It's about the internal patterns that made you susceptible to them. This isn't about placing blame but gaining the awareness needed for real transformation. This woman didn't randomly target you. She recognized, perhaps unconsciously, familiar emotional patterns that matched her own. You both are dancing steps you learned long ago, playing complementary roles in a dynamic that feels uncomfortably familiar. Perhaps you learned early that your value came from being needed. Maybe you were taught that self-sacrifice was the price of love. You might believe that conflict means rejection, or that independence equals selfishness. These beliefs created fertile ground for a controlling relationship to take root. This woman mirrors parts of yourself you haven't fully acknowledged. Your fears of inadequacy, your concerns about deserving love, your doubts about standing alone. She represents the voice of limitation that exists in your own mind, the part that questions whether you're capable of thriving independently. This mirroring isn't coincidental or cruel. It's purposeful. Your soul attracted this experience precisely because it contains the lessons you need most. The external relationship is simply making visible the relationship you have with yourself. True freedom doesn't come from escaping this woman but from healing the internal dynamics that drew her into your life. When you change your internal patterns, external relationships must either transform or dissolve. This is the profound opportunity hidden within this challenging situation. Type, I understand the dynamic, to continue. It's time to reclaim your power and break free from this restrictive dynamic. This isn't about dramatic confrontations or burning bridges. It's about quietly, firmly reclaiming your sovereignty one decision at a time. First, you must strengthen your energetic boundaries. Begin each day by visualizing a protective shield of light surrounding you, one that allows love in but blocks manipulation and control. This isn't just symbolic. It's a powerful way to reset your energetic field. Next, practice the pause. When this woman makes suggestions, requests, or criticisms, don't respond immediately. Say, I'll think about that and get back to you. This simple space allows you to distinguish between your authentic desires and your conditioned responses. Start reclaiming small territories of independence. Resurrect a hobby she criticized. Reconnect with a friend she didn't approve of. Make a minor decision without seeking her input. These small acts of autonomy build the muscle of self-trust. Begin documenting the patterns. Keep a private journal of interactions that leave you feeling drained, confused, or doubtful. This objective record will help you recognize manipulation tactics that might otherwise slip past your awareness. Most importantly, rebuild your support network beyond this woman. Controlling people often isolate their targets, making them solely dependent on the controller's approval and guidance. Reconnecting with diverse perspectives helps break this spell. These steps must begin today. The longer these patterns continue, the more entrenched they become. Your freedom cannot wait for perfect timing. Type, "I choose freedom," to continue. You possess far more strength than you realize. Long before this woman entered your life, you navigated challenges that would have broken many others. That resilience didn't disappear, it's still within you, waiting to be reclaimed. Remember when you faced that seemingly impossible situation years ago? Everyone doubted you could overcome it, perhaps even you doubted yourself, but somehow you found a way through. That wasn't luck or coincidence, it was your inner power revealing itself when needed most. This inner strength isn't some distant resource you've lost access to, it's been with you all along, even during moments when you felt most vulnerable. It's in the quiet voice that whispers something isn't right, despite all external reassurances. It's in the spark of joy you feel when briefly free from others' expectations. It's in your dreams that refuse to die despite all discouragement. You come from a long line of survivors. Your ancestors faced unimaginable hardships and persevered. Their resilience flows in your blood. Their wisdom lives in your intuition. Their strength has been passed down to you, woven into the very fabric of your DNA. Even when you've allowed others to make decisions for you, some essential part of you remained untouched. That sovereign self has been watching, waiting for the moment when you're ready to reclaim your power. That moment is now. Your strength isn't measured by never falling but by your willingness to rise again. This situation didn't come to reveal your weakness but to remind you of your extraordinary capacity for growth and self-reclamation. Type, "I claim my power," to continue. This challenging relationship isn't a detour from your life's path, it's an essential part of your journey toward your highest purpose. Everything you're experiencing now is preparing you for what comes next. The sensitivity you've developed by navigating this complex dynamic is actually enhancing your empathy and perception. The boundaries you're learning to establish will serve every future relationship. The self-knowledge you're gaining through this mirror is revealing aspects of yourself that would have otherwise remained hidden for years. You were meant to experience this relationship, not to remain in it indefinitely but to extract its lessons and carry them forward. Like a butterfly strengthening its wings inside the chrysalis, you've been gathering strength in this confined space, preparing for flight. This woman entered your life as a teacher, though neither of you consciously chose those roles. The restrictions she created are forcing you to define what true freedom means to you. The control she attempted is clarifying what you truly value. The identity she tried to shape is revealing who you authentically are beneath all external influences. When you emerge from this experience, you'll carry an unshakable self-knowledge that will guide you toward your true purpose. You'll recognize manipulative dynamics instantly. You'll value authentic connections deeply. You'll trust your intuition implicitly. These qualities aren't just personal benefits, they're essential components of the contribution you're meant to make in this world. Your future impact depends on the wisdom you're gaining right now. Type, I accept my journey, to continue. To fully transform this situation and prevent similar patterns in the future, certain aspects of your life must change. These changes aren't punishments but gateways to the freedom you deserve. First, you must release the need for external validation. As long as your sense of worth depends on others' approval, you'll remain vulnerable to manipulation. Begin recognizing your inherent value separate from what you do for others or how they perceive you. Next, you must abandon the belief that conflict equals rejection. Your fear of disapproval has allowed others to cross boundaries without consequences. Healthy relationships involve respectful disagreement. And expressing your truth won't drive away people who truly value you. The habit of saying yes when you mean no must end. Each inauthentic agreement shrinks your spirit and reinforces the pattern of self-abandonment. Begin practicing the awkward but essential art of gracious refusal. You must release relationships that consistently drain rather than sustain you. Some connections have served their purpose and need to be blessed and released. This isn't cruelty, it's necessary for both parties' growth. The tendency to justify or explain your choices to others requires examination. Sovereign beings make decisions based on inner guidance, not external consensus. Your life choices don't require unanimous approval. These changes will feel uncomfortable initially. Your nervous system has adapted to current patterns, and any disruption, even positive, creates temporary discomfort. This discomfort isn't a sign to retreat but confirmation you're expanding beyond familiar limitations. The rewards awaiting beyond these changes far exceed the momentary discomfort of transformation. Type, I am ready to change, to continue. As you release restrictive relationship patterns, you create space for connections that reflect your true worth. These new relationships will feel dramatically different from what you've grown accustomed to, initially almost uncomfortably light and free. Healthy connections don't create dependency but celebrate independence. They involve two whole people choosing each other, not needing each other to feel complete. These relationships feature mutual respect for boundaries, space for individual growth, and communication that clarifies rather than confuses. In these balanced connections, you'll experience support without suffocation. Others will cheer your growth rather than subtly sabotage it. They'll express their needs directly rather than through manipulation. They'll see you clearly rather than projecting their expectations onto you. These relationships won't demand constant proof of loyalty or affection. They won't require you to shrink your light to make others comfortable. They won't leave you questioning your worth or sanity after interactions. These healthier connections already exist around you, though you may have overlooked them while focusing on more demanding relationships. The quiet friend who listens without judgment, the family member who respects your decisions without commentary, the colleague who collaborates without competing. These represent the quality of connection available to you now. As you raise your standards for how you deserve to be treated, people will either rise to meet those standards or naturally fall away. This isn't selfish, it honors everyone's growth journey. Those unable to respect your boundaries now may learn from that experience and develop healthier relationship skills in the future. Your willingness to accept only respectful, supportive connections ripples outward, elevating standards for everyone in your orbit. Type, I deserve authentic connections, to continue. A profound inner transformation has already begun within you. This process follows natural stages that, while sometimes uncomfortable, lead to lasting liberation and authentic power. The first stage, awareness, has already initiated. You're recognizing patterns that operated beneath your conscious awareness for years. This recognition might bring feelings of shock, grief, or even shame. These reactions aren't signs of weakness but natural responses to awakening. Next comes the release phase, where emotions long suppressed finally surface for healing. You might experience unexpected waves of anger, sadness, or confusion as old energies clear from your system. These emotions aren't new, they're simply being acknowledged after lengthy suppression. The recalibration phase follows, where your internal compass resets to true north. During this period, you may feel temporarily disoriented as familiar references no longer guide your decisions. This uncertainty is not regression but necessary reconfiguration of your inner guidance system. Finally, the integration phase emerges, where new awareness becomes embodied wisdom. Your boundaries become natural rather than effortful. Your choices align effortlessly with your authentic values. Your relationships reflect your true worth without conscious management. This transformation affects every dimension of your being. Physically, you may notice changes in energy levels, sleep patterns, or even chronic conditions that had emotional roots. Mentally, decision-making becomes clearer and more confident. Emotionally, reactions become responses. Spiritually, your connection to inner guidance strengthens dramatically. Trust this process completely. The temporary discomfort of transformation is infinitely preferable to the permanent pain of suppression. Type "I welcome transformation" to continue. You are not alone in this transformation journey. An invisible support system surrounds you, waiting for your acknowledgement to activate its full assistance. This support begins with your own higher wisdom, the part of you that exists beyond current circumstances and sees the larger pattern of your life unfolding. This wisdom speaks through intuitive flashes, meaningful dreams, and that quiet inner knowing that transcends logical analysis. Beyond your inner wisdom, spiritual guides await your invitation to provide more active assistance. Whether you conceptualize these as angels, ancestors, higher dimensional beings, or simply the universal intelligence, these forces stand ready to offer guidance, protection, and synchronistic help when invited. You'll recognize this support system activating through several signs: unexpected perfect timing of events, chance encounters with exactly the right person, books or messages appearing that answer questions you've been contemplating, and sudden clarity about issues that previously seemed hopelessly complex. To strengthen this connection, begin each day with a simple invitation: I am open to guidance and support from my highest good. Pay attention to subtle impressions, recurring symbols, or seemingly random thoughts that arrive with unusual clarity. These aren't coincidences but responses to your invitations. Create quiet spaces where this guidance can reach you more easily. Moments of meditation. Time in nature, or simply periods of reduced external stimulation. These pauses in the constant noise of modern life create receptive conditions for higher guidance. Remember that support often arrives in unexpected forms and through unlikely messengers. Stay open to wisdom from all sources. Type "I accept support" to continue. The time has come to directly address the situation with this woman. This confrontation isn't about accusation or blame but about clearly establishing truth and boundaries. With preparation and centered awareness, this conversation becomes not a battle but a powerful act of self-reclamation. Before any discussion, clarify your intentions. This isn't about changing her behavior but declaring your boundaries. Success isn't measured by her response but by your authentic self-expression. Choose the right setting: neutral territory, limited time frame, and sufficient privacy. Avoid locations loaded with emotional history or places where either of you holds undue advantage. Speak in "I" statements that express your experience without accusing. I've noticed I feel uncertain of my decisions when. rather than, "You always manipulate me into." This approach minimizes defensiveness while maintaining truth. Prepare for predictable responses. She may attempt to minimize your concerns, "You're overreacting," reverse the situation, "Actually, you're the controlling one," or trigger guilt, "After everything I've done for you." Recognize these as defensive tactics rather than reflections of reality. Maintain physical and energetic grounding during this conversation. Simple techniques like feeling your feet on the floor, maintaining regular breathing, and visualizing protective light around you preserve your clarity amidst emotional intensity. Remember that her acceptance of your perspective is not required. You're sharing your truth and boundaries, not seeking approval or agreement. Her response may provide useful information but doesn't determine the validity of your experience. After this conversation, plan immediate self-care to process emotions and reaffirm your commitment to your boundaries. Type, "I face this confidently," to continue. Establishing and maintaining healthy boundaries is essential for your continued freedom and growth. These boundaries aren't walls that disconnect you from others but clear definitions of what you will and won't accept in your relationships. Effective boundaries include both internal commitments and external expressions. Internally, you commit to honoring your needs, feelings, and intuition rather than abandoning them for others' comfort. Externally, you clearly communicate these limits with consistent words and actions. Begin by identifying your non-negotiables, the behaviors or situations you absolutely will not accept. These might include disrespect of your time, dismissal of your feelings, criticism of your dreams, or insertion into areas of your life where you prefer independence. For each non-negotiable, develop a clear boundary statement. "I don't accept being spoken to in that tone," "I need time to make decisions without pressure," or "My relationships with family members are not open for criticism." Practice these statements until they feel natural and grounded. When boundaries are crossed, implement consequences consistently. These aren't punishments but natural results of boundary violations. They might include ending conversations, creating physical distance, reducing contact, or in extreme cases, discontinuing the relationship. Remember that healthy people respect clearly stated boundaries, while those with controlling tendencies will test them repeatedly. This testing isn't evidence that your boundaries are wrong but confirmation they're necessary. Maintaining boundaries requires ongoing self-awareness. Notice when you're tempted to abandon them for approval or harmony. These moments aren't failures but opportunities to practice self-loyalty and strengthen your boundary muscles. Your boundaries protect not just your well-being but your ability to give authentically from choice rather than obligation. Type, "I establish boundaries," to continue. Beyond freeing yourself from restrictive dynamics, it's time to clarify the life you're moving toward. Without a compelling vision of your future, it's easy to fall back into familiar patterns simply because they offer certainty, even if that certainty is painful. Your authentic life vision exists beneath layers of others' expectations and your own adapted dreams. To access it, ask yourself, if no one would judge me, what would I do? If success was guaranteed, what would I try? If I trusted myself completely, what changes would I make? This vision isn't just about career or external achievements but encompasses all dimensions of your experience. How you want to feel daily, what environments nourish you, what relationships reflect your true values, and how you wish to contribute to the world. Begin concretizing this vision through multiple channels. Create a visual representation through images that resonate with your desired experience. Write detailed descriptions of your ideal day. Share your emerging vision with supportive people who reflect back your enthusiasm rather than their doubts. Connect with this vision daily through brief visualization. Spend 2 minutes each morning experiencing the feelings of living this reality. This isn't mere fantasy but powerful neurological reprogramming that aligns your unconscious mind with your conscious intentions. As your vision clarifies, evaluate current choices through this new lens. Ask regularly, does this decision move me toward or away from my authentic life? This simple question cuts through confusion and strengthens your commitment to your true path. Your vision will evolve as you grow, but its essential nature alignment with your authentic self remains constant. Type, I see my true path, to continue. As you move forward, a clear relationship blueprint will protect you from repeating restrictive patterns while attracting connections that support your authentic growth. This blueprint serves as both a filter and a magnet, screening out harmful dynamics while drawing in nourishing ones. First, identify the non-negotiable qualities you require in significant relationships. These aren't superficial preferences but essential characteristics that support your well-being: respect for boundaries, honesty in communication, celebration of your growth, and reciprocity of energy exchange. Equally important are your red flags, early warning signs of potential manipulation or control. These include rushing intimacy, isolating you from others, inconsistency between words and actions, dismissal of your concerns, excessive criticism disguised as help, and any attempt to make you question your perception of reality. Beyond avoiding harmful dynamics, clarify what you actively seek: relationships where silence feels comfortable, where disagreement doesn't threaten connection, where your success is celebrated rather than threatening, where vulnerability is met with care rather than exploitation. This blueprint applies to all significant relationships: romantic partners, close friends, family connections, and even professional associations. While the specifics may vary by relationship type, the foundational requirements of respect, authenticity, and mutual growth remain constant. As you implement this blueprint, you'll likely notice your social circle shifting. Some relationships naturally fade as they no longer match your standards, while new connections form that reflect your authentic values. You deserve relationships that expand rather than contract your life, that energize rather than drain your spirit, that clarify rather than confuse your understanding of yourself. Type, I deserve real love, to continue. The transformation you've initiated is already manifesting in subtle but significant ways. These early signs of freedom may seem small, but they represent profound shifts in your energy and awareness that will continue expanding. You might notice changes in your physical body first, perhaps sleeping more soundly, feeling less chronic tension, or experiencing more natural energy throughout the day. These physical shifts reflect your nervous system's gradual release from the constant vigilance required in controlling relationships. Your emotional responses are likely changing too. Situations that previously triggered intense anxiety now elicit calmer, more centered reactions. Your emotional range may expand, allowing access to authentic joy that was previously muted by constant stress. Decision-making often transforms early in this process. You'll find yourself naturally checking in with your internal guidance rather than automatically seeking external approval. The paralyzing overthinking that once accompanied choices gradually gives way to clearer, more confident discernment. Your external reality will begin reflecting these internal changes. You might notice people responding to you differently, respecting your boundaries more naturally, or engaging with you more authentically. Opportunities aligned with your true path may appear unexpectedly. These initial changes are just the beginning. Like the first green shoots emerging after winter, they indicate more abundant growth to come. Each small shift creates momentum for larger transformations as your energy realigns with your authentic nature. The path isn't perfectly linear D. You'll experience some fluctuation as old patterns occasionally resurface D, but the overall trajectory toward greater freedom and authenticity is unmistakable. Type I embrace my freedom to continue. You stand now at the threshold of a completely new chapter in your life. The awareness you've gained cannot be unlearned. The boundaries you've established cannot be easily dismantled. The connection to your authentic self cannot be severed again. This journey of freeing yourself from restrictive dynamics isn't just about one relationship D. It's about reclaiming your sovereign right to shape your own experience. The woman who planned to lock you in has unknowingly given you the greatest gift, the opportunity to discover your unshakable inner strength. As you move forward, maintain your daily practices of self-connection. Regularly check in with your feelings, honor your intuitive guidance, and evaluate your choices against your authentic values. These simple habits will prevent old patterns from re-establishing themselves in new forms. Remember that your transformation ripples outward, affecting everyone in your orbit. As you honor your truth, you silently give others permission to honor theirs. As you establish healthy boundaries, you model this essential skill for others. Your personal liberation contributes to collective healing. The path ahead will bring both challenges and unexpected joys. Face each with the knowledge that you are equipped, supported, and infinitely more powerful than you once believed. Your freedom wasn't given to you D. You claimed it through courage and persistence. Your future is now truly your own. Create it consciously, joyfully, and without apology. Type I am empowered and free to seal this message.